Hello everybody. Welcome back. So, this is not a sewing machine, obviously. And I've been debating on if I'm going to do this on the channel, but sometimes, worlds collide and people have different interests. And in addition to sewing machines, one of my interests is typewriters, okay? And this is just a little Royal Ultra Portable that I picked up at a flea market, and in general it works. It's just ugly, The case is very plastic, it's nicotined, it's, just very dirty. The machine itself has rust spots. It's just surface, but it's, that putty color that's not the prettiest. And I just want to clean her up and paint her a pretty color. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and show that. Now, I am not a typewriter repair person. At this point, you never know. Sometimes interests change and you learn things along the way, which is always the case. And in general, this machine functions, okay? I will be pulling off the panels to strip and paint and doing a deep clean on this, but I'm not going to be pulling pieces all over the place. I'll take the ribbons out and things like that. But I just wanted to introduce you to that idea. If this is not your cup of tea, that is just fine. No hard feelings whatsoever. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I noticed when I popped this off, this side came off too easily, and this little bracket I think is bent. So I'll need to straighten that out. The rubber on here is very hard, and at this point, yeah, it's brittle. It just broke off. So I'll be putting a new little piece of rubber there. This is just a little rubber washer, and it is rock hard also. I don't know the date of this machine. It's probably in the 1960s, I'm guessing. Just guessing. But I'll be, doing small things like that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is just take the ribbon off, and I want to make sure that I keep everything nice and organized. So I'm just going to wrap this up kind of in the position that it was in. I'm probably going to put a new ribbon on because even though she worked, it was very dry. So I'll be saving these nice metal spools, and I can always wind a new ribbon onto the old spool. So there's that. There's usually just a few screws holding the outside case on. Up here, you know what? I think I'm going to take the bottom plate off first. And it does have some rubber feet, and actually these feet feel like they're in pretty decent shape. So I might just reuse the same little rubber feet. But I'm going to go ahead and unscrew. I need to grab it. No, that'll work. Unscrew these 4 screws and take off the little rubber foot. There it goes. Yeah, those are in decent shape. And save all of these little feet in its own little baggie, and then pull off the bottom plate. Okay, so with those 4 bottom screws off, now I need to take off these 2 here. Okay. And looks like I'm missing a screw here. There should be 2 here and 2 here, but I've only got 1. I'll figure something out when the time comes, but just making a note, that 1 little screw is missing. So let me feel that pop open there. So here is the bottom plate. What is this? There's a little mystery piece of paper in there. A secret code. Oh, how fun. Write a coded message to a friend using the secret code attached. That's fun. I'm going to save that. You never know when you need to write a secret coded message. So, of course, very dirty, and it's going to get cleaned. But in general, I don't see any damage. I think we're going to be good. But this is going to get totally cleaned. I am definitely going to be painting. Okay, I need to take these 2 screws off the top here and this one off here so that I can pull the outside frame off. All right, so this actually comes off in 2 pieces. One side over here, again with that felt, which looks like it's in good shape. I may just reuse that. And then this side over here is going to slide off. Okay, so I still have the paper tray. I'm going to try to take off the platen here. And the paper tray because I want to paint that. And also this little back guard. I'm going to unscrew that. Now all of these screws look to be the exact same screw. So I am just keeping them all together. And that should make my life easier. So let me take these 2 screws off and pull off this plate. Well, I can tell you I'm having trouble getting the platen off because it's such a tight, this is reverse threaded over here. And I was at first trying it, you know, with rags around here and to unscrew it that way, but I am too afraid that I'm going to damage these knobs. So I am ordering a set of strap wrenches. Hopefully they will be here very soon. And while I'm waiting for them to arrive, I am going to go ahead and get started cleaning out the machine and stripping out the panels that I have off at this point. On a separate step, what I am doing is the panels that I've taken off, I'm actually using my Media Blaster to take all the paint off, all that shininess. And I did not want to peel this felt off because it was in really good shape. So I left it on in my blaster, and then when I took it out, I just used the air compressor to blow anything that was loose off. So these are all ready to get primered. The only piece that I'm masking on this is this emblem. I think it's just stuck on there because I don't see any way just to pop it off. So I'm just going to use my very thick, heavy-duty Media Blaster proof tape to put over that little emblem and blast that also. Now the case itself is plastic, but it was very dirty, very, you know, lots of old grease on it from hands and things like that. So I actually blasted that also, and I'll show you in just a bit. And that's going to do a couple things. First of all, I do have a special primer for using on plastic, but plastic can always be somewhat troublesome, you know. So in addition to that plastic primer, I think that having it slightly roughed up just a bit, giving that paint a little bit of texture to grab onto instead of a slick plastic surface might get me a little bit better adhesion, you know. It's always a good word. So I'm going to go ahead and blast this off too, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for the case, because I can't really start painting the metal panels until I get this off, and I should be getting those strap wrenches in the mail on Monday, I think, and I don't know. Whenever I get them, I get them. If I'm in the town and I can poke around auto parts stores, I'll see if I can find any nearby, but I live in the middle of nowhere, so there's honestly nothing local. So, you know, you do what you can do. Okay, I actually decided I'm going to go ahead and paint the case because it's plastic and I have to treat it differently than the metal parts, so I might as well. At this point, if you can see, it's not shiny-ish. I did, you know, give it a light blasting with my Media Blaster, and I taped off up here where the handle is. I'm not removing that because if I go to remove that mechanism, these buttons are going to come out, and I want to paint those buttons too, okay? So I have the appropriate parts masked off down there. So after I masked her off, when I brought her in here, I wiped her down with glass cleaner and a microfiber cloth just to get any residual dust off of her. I think I've got the grease and dust off now. So I'm going to go ahead and primer her. And what I'm going to be using is this Rust-Oleum Universal Bonding Primer. I've used it on a few other plastics and it's worked pretty well. So I have high hopes it's going to, you know, do its thing here. So let me go ahead and give it a coat or maybe even 2 of this, and then I'll show you her color. Okay, if you can see, it goes on white. It's a white looking primer. So I'm going to let this dry about 6 minutes and give it one more coat. And I think that that will be good. Okay, so I have my first coat of color on there, and we are going with cherry red. Why not, you know? Extremely bright and happy. I am going to put at least 2 coats of the enamel on here, and then let it dry completely. I want to give this at least a week to become as, you know, cured as possible before I start messing with it. I will be probably putting some kind of a design element on it, and I am also playing with the idea of putting a metallic top coat on it. So it's going to be fun. But that's what she's looking like right now. When she has her second coat on, she's going to look very similar. So this is probably it for her photo opportunity today. And next time I see you, hopefully I'll have my strap wrenches in and I'll get that platen taken off. Well, I am not the most patient person, so I actually came back up here and messed with the knob again, and I was able to break it free. I do still have those wrenches on order, and it'll be good to have them for next time, but I am able to get this knob off here. This side is threaded, that side is not. Okay, this side has set screws, this side is threaded, all right? And it is reverse threaded. So I have unscrewed that. I need to take this little arm off. There's a screw here and it has a spring underneath it. So I have to be careful when I take it off that that spring does not go flying somewhere. And I have the spring here and the little screw here. Okay, lots of springs on typewriters. All right, so this should come off. So now it's come off. So this is the little gauge for line spacing, okay? So I am going to keep all of this together in one little baggie, but I should be able to lift the platen, this is the threaded side here, up, and then pull it out over here. Okay, this little sprocket, that's important. I need to not lose that, but I'm paying attention when I'm pulling it off. The little cogs, they're kind of angled towards the front, okay? And I can't really see anything else identifying that. So what I'm going to do is on the inside of this piece, I'm looking for a marker over here. On the inside, that's going to go towards the platen, and I'm just going to put in a Sharpie 2 platen. Okay, and that way I'll know when I'm going to put it back on, that goes up against this side. So let me wrap these up. This is in actually pretty good shape. The rubber is fairly soft. There's no hard spots, no flat spots, no chunks taken out of it. So I'm really happy with that. So we'll just keep that nice and safe in there. I have made an executive decision here, and I am not going to remove this tray. I am not experienced enough to feel confident doing experimental things on here. So hang on a second. Okay, so with that being said, I have put a little bracket back on over here that I removed a moment ago and cleaned up in here in the paper tray, cleaned up the rollers, and I'm going to go ahead and put the platen back in. Okay, so with, you know, my platen back in and everything back together so it's functioning like it should, I cleaned this roughly earlier, which was I got a little cup of mineral spirits and a bristle brush, well, just a stiff bristle brush, and worked it all over, you know, in here, all over it, and flipped it upside down, worked it in, and then blew it out with an air compressor, and that blew out a whole lot of gunk, a whole lot of just dried up stuff and everything, plus the dust that was built up. So what I am doing right now is coming back and just making sure each tiny little base here has a tiny bit of oil on it. And this is very good. It's sewing machine oil, you know, but it's a very good oil that's not going to solidify. Don't use WD-40 on these things, you know. But I'm just going through like this. Also, what I'm going to do off camera, because it's boring to watch, is with a little needle and, you know, another little paintbrush, going through and cleaning out all the little letters and stuff on all of the little slugs. Because over time, stuff builds up in there, you know, and just pulling all of that stuff out. It's kind of a therapeutic thing. It's a put on an audiobook and do it kind of thing. So between that and a little paintbrush to dust it off, you know, keep going. Like I said, I did already go over this with mineral spirits once, but I can some more if it feels like it's a little too gunky up here in the slugs. So I'm going to be working on all of that. Now, yes, I am leaving my tray in, but see this red? That is the same red that I'm painting the case and the rest of the machine with. So I'm not feeling really bad about it. I'm feeling it's kind of an homage to the original paint, you know, leaving that in there. Sorry about that. Plus, there comes a point where you have to make a judgment call to do no harm kind of thing, you know. So I think that my tripod keeps falling low. I think that that's the best judgment call for me right now at this stage in my expertise in this whole area. I was able to find some videos for other models, very, very different from this machine, explaining how to take this off, but not for this machine. And I just don't want to wing it at this point. So there you go. So I'm going to finish, you know, doing my point-by-point cleanup. Little bit of oil, clean all the excess off, because the last thing I want is excess oil on this. Make sure that everything is moving very freely. It sounds like I need a little bit of oil down there on something. So I'm going to do all that, and tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and paint her case. I also wanted to point out, I'm just cleaning the keys in place, and what I am using is a piece of a, you know, knockoff brand magic eraser. And I have a very good cleaning solution here. It's actually a solution that I use to clean my machines before I paint them. But basically, just any good degreaser kind of cleaner on a piece of magic eraser. And just going over every single little key. And look how clean that gets. It kind of bleaches it out a little bit, which is nice, because these are a little bit nicotine yellowed. And once it has the bright red paint, I think that, you know, it'll be prettier. The whiter I can get them, the prettier it'll be. So that is how I am cleaning the keys, you know, just rubbing enough. It gets all the grime off, but I'm not, you know, scrubbing that I don't want to remove the paint up here or anything like that. But I think that that's a good way to go. And then when this little piece is all used up, I can just rip another one off the sponge. Good morning and welcome to the next day. So I have my typewriter pieces in here. I think my camera lighting's doing weird things, but I wanted to show you. I have the felt masked off, and over here I've got the little royal emblem masked off, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint it this morning. The paints that I'm using are a self-etching primer on the base metal, and then after that I am using cherry gloss protective enamel, and I'll probably do at least a couple coats of that. So I'm not going to show you all those steps because, you know, looking at something that's, you know, just bare metal gray and something that's primer gray looks very similar, and so I will show you what they look like once they are all red and shining. Okay, so I've got 3 coats of enamel on here, and it looks really good. I'm really pleased. I have one spot that did not obey. I got a drip, and it's over here. I don't even know if you can see right there. But I think in general, it's going to be really, really slick. So I'm going to let this dry for a couple days. The case technically is dry, but it still feels a bit tacky to me. And I don't know if that's because, you know, it is a plastic or what. But, you know, better to be safe than sorry. So we're just going to leave this alone, and I will see you again shortly. So I know it's been a while since I've showed you anything with my typewriter. I kind of got sidetracked. I did just paint her plain cherry red. I did a little bit of decal work on the case, and I'll show you that soon. But I'm getting ready to clear coat her. So this is my regular finish one clear coat with the hardener. And I have added a little bit of cherry pearl into it, because that's fun, you know? So this is what I'm going to be spraying on at least one, possibly two coats of this clear coat. I'm going to use my little detail gun here because that works pretty well. So let me go ahead and get everything pulled together, and I'll show you what she looks like with a coat on. Okay, I don't know if you can see the pearl in that. Let me go to a different piece and see. You might be able to see some of the sparkle there. So I'm going to be putting another coat on. I wanted to show you, this is the case. And that is what I did. I had one of these decals left over. And so I put it on here and did some gold accent, you know, on the little dog collar and leash and stuff. Just for fun. Just for fun. Okay. So obviously it's been a little while, and I did a lot of things and did not show you my steps because I was trying new things. But I wanted to show you how she turned out. This is her case. You push these two little buttons, the front opens up, and there she is. So this case comes completely off, you know, very solid paint. It does have that adhesive primer, a few coats of cherry enamel, you know, my decal, and then another coat or so of a clear coat. And I don't know if you can see in the reflection of my ring light there is a metallic red pearl in there. It's very subtle. It's extremely subtle. I didn't go overboard on that. But I think last time I showed you I was about to paint her, and I did paint her red. And she looked like a little red typewriter. And I started looking online, and there are so many little red typewriters, you know. And I decided, you know what, I want something different. And so the bottom is that original red, and it does have the feet and everything back on, which were still in good shape. The back little lip is red, the front little lip is red. That's all part of that bottom panel. This is car wrap, that vinyl heat sealed car wrap. And this was my very first time dealing with it. It comes in a roll. This is a little scrap here. And the place I got it was this R vinyl. And you can see for a roll that was 12 inches wide, 59 inches long, it was, including shipping and everything, probably about $26, which isn't bad, because in this roll is enough to do probably 2 or 3 of these type machines, you know, if you wanted to. So did I learn a lot? Yes. I don't know if you can see, I did not do a perfect job. Again, my first time dealing with car vinyl, I have wrinkles in my corners. And as you do, I do my first thing and then figure out, oh, I need to go on YouTube and figure out what's going on. And I figured out that I need a couple extra tools. And instead of just trying to stretch this over the corner, I really needed to slice it and miter it here and down here and things like that. But you know what? That is a learning experience for another machine and another day. But she is completely cleaned up, and she has a brand new ribbon. I put her new ribbon on her old metal spools because the new ribbons come on these little chintzy plastic ones that just don't do as well. So I wound the new ribbon on the old spools. I put, you can see the inside here. It's not as pretty. My multiple issues here where I was painting, unpainting, painting, unpainting. I put little shrink wrap covers on these that had that really dry rotted padding on it. I put a couple rubber washers on here just to try to cushion it. I believe that there must have been some kind of a little clip in these two holes at one time that would grab this a whole lot better. And I'm thinking of putting some little grommets in there. I have them in my electrical kit, so I'll do that after I do this video. Just try to squeeze a grommet in there so that this little lip will grab it well. But yeah, I think that she's adorable, and she works really well. you know. I will show you in a minute. So let me get into my little grommet set, get something squeezed in here so I know this is gonna stay put, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got them in there, and that's just a little grommet kit, you know, where you have multiple sizes. They worked really well. Okay, I took my big washers off, put a smaller rubber washer on that will not come off there. And now this should hold a lot more securely. Yeah, it's not going to want to come off, so that's good. I'm really happy with that, because before I could just turn it and it would pop off. Not so much anymore. So let me stick this receipt in here and we'll see how she types.